As a coach, you likely have different types of appointments that you want to allow people to book with you. For example, maybe you want to offer a 90-minute coaching session, but you also do 15-minute consultation calls for people to decide if you're the right fit to help them. Clarityflow allows you to set up different appointment times so you can offer different booking links to people to book these specific types of appointments with you, all with your different settings and preferences attached to those appointments. So to do this, you're going to navigate to appointments and then scheduling links. Clarityflow gives you one appointment type by default, just called coaching session, which you can click into to edit, but you can also easily add new appointment types by pressing this new appointment type button in the top right corner. To start, I'm going to edit this existing coaching session appointment time by clicking on it. Here's where you can customize all different aspects of this appointment, starting with the details. Here's where you can set a custom name, add a short description, and select whether this one should be your default appointment type. Underneath availability, here's where you can select what availability you want to apply to this appointment. Now, we have a separate video and guide all about creating different availabilities, but for now, I'm going to select the availability coaching sessions since I'm setting up my coaching sessions appointment. You can set your meeting length. By default, it'll be set to 1 hour. I do 90-minute coaching sessions, so I'm going to select 1 hour and 30 minutes for my coaching session meeting length. You can also select your start time interval for this sort of meeting. I'm going to select every 30 minutes, but you can select anything from 10 minutes to every hour in terms of when you want these to start. Another really helpful thing you can set is a buffer before or after meetings. I have mine set to 15 minutes so that I know I'll never have coaching sessions back to back to back. This ensures I always have a little bit of a break to grab some water, catch my breath, and take a little bit of a break between coaching sessions. Additionally, you can select your minimum notice in terms of how much notice you need when somebody books this appointment. Right now it's set to 4 hours, but you could select anything from 15 minutes up to 4 weeks, depending on how much of a heads up you want when somebody books this type of appointment. You can also limit how far out people can look at your calendar. Right now it's set to 2 months, but again, there's a lot of customization options here in terms of how far out you want people to be able to see and book on your calendar. And finally, you can limit the appointment frequency for this specific type of appointment. Since coaching sessions themselves can be a little demanding on my energy, I've limited this to 3 appointments per day, meaning I will never do more than 3 coaching sessions in a single day. Press Update Appointment Type to save any settings that you've added there. Now let's look at team members. Here's where you can select which team members should be included on appointments of this type, which is helpful if you have multiple coaches working for your business or team members like a sales team member or a customer support team member. Since I'm the only coach with my business, I'm going to keep my name selected as I should always be included on coaching session appointments. But if I were setting up my appointment for consultation calls, then maybe my sales team member, Jane, would have her toggle selected and I would turn mine off. There's also the option to customize your scheduling page, which is the public-facing booking page that you can share with your clients. I'm going to come back to this one so we can talk about it in a little more detail. Next, you can determine how you want Clarityflow to treat conversations for new bookings. There are a couple of options here. The one that's selected by default is that new bookings will create a new conversation unless the booking was initiated from within a conversation. Now, again, we have a separate video and guide about how to make a booking offer within a conversation, but just know that if you have this one selected, when you send someone your calendar in an existing async conversation, Clarityflow will use that one to send them the appointment details. If there is not an existing conversation with the person who books, then Clarityflow will create an entirely new async conversation that autofills with your appointment details. Alternatively, you could select that every new appointment will always create a new conversation. So even if you offer your calendar inside of an existing async conversation, Clarityflow will still create a new conversation that fills with your appointment details. Or, of course, you can always select that new appointments will not create new conversations if you don't want Clarityflow to create an async conversation after somebody books with you. For now, I'm just going to leave this set to new bookings will create a new conversation unless the booking was initiated from within a conversation. This location or call link menu is where you set, obviously, the location for your meeting. You can choose whether you want to include a custom call link or location, or simply link to the Clarityflow conversation for this appointment as the location if you want to share details there instead. But here you could select a custom call link or location and paste your Zoom link or your Google Meet link in here. This means when Clarityflow sends you and your client the appointment details, it will include the call link for them right there. Another helpful feature is booking questions. If there's information that you need to collect from people ahead of your call, you can set booking questions that people answer when booking appointments. So, since I'm setting up a coaching session, maybe I would say, what's your top goal with coaching? And I'll mark this one required so that they have to answer it ahead of booking an appointment. You can also customize your appointment reminders or the notification that gets sent to people to remind them of your appointment. You can turn these on or off with the toggle, and then also set the timing, whether you want them to receive a reminder right at the start time or as far as 3 days before. I'll leave it at 3 hours before our appointment type. Now let's go back to our scheduling page and talk about this section, because this is where you can customize the public page that you send to people where they can book with you. You can start by customizing your booking page URL. Right now I have mine set to coaching sessions, but of course you can put any text in there that makes sense for you and the type of appointment you're setting up. You can change your headline. Maybe I'll change mine to "Let's get your coaching session on the calendar." You can choose whether to display a message template on your booking page. For example, I created a message template specifically for my coaching sessions. So I'm going to display this coaching session welcome video at the top of my booking page. You can customize the text that's shown to people when they're making a new booking or they're updating an existing booking, as well as your call to action booking button text. You can decide whether you want people to log in to view your booking page, or if people who don't have Clarityflow accounts or aren't logged in can view it as well. And finally, you can decide where to redirect people after they book. You can either redirect them to the conversation associated with this appointment. So if you opt to have Clarityflow create asynchronous conversations or use existing asynchronous conversations after somebody books, then you can redirect them to the conversation. Or you can simply display a confirmation page, which will show them the appointment details. And again, you can customize the text here. Or you can send them to a custom URL. That's perfect if you have things on your own website, whether it's a detailed questionnaire or resources that you want them to view before your coaching session appointment or before their scheduled appointment. You can redirect them to a custom URL. For now, I'm just going to have them go to the conversation associated with this appointment. Now let's just quickly take a look at what this scheduling page looks like, which you can see by either pressing preview or view scheduling page at the top. That'll take a minute to load in a new window, but it'll give us an idea of what clients will see when I share my booking link with them, which essentially gives them the copy that I input at the top. Here's my welcome video that I created, and here's where they can schedule their appointment. They can open any of these drop downs to select an available time that works for them. Let's just say, Monday, October 7th at 9 a.m. Here's where they have to answer my required question. Let's say, what's my top goal with coaching? To build my confidence. Continue, and then press book it. And then they are immediately brought into this newly created conversation that fills with their appointment details. It shows them what appointment they've scheduled, when, the time, who's attending, and even gives them links to reschedule or cancel directly within this message. Now, again, you can create several appointment types. On our starter plan, I believe you can create 2, but on standard plans and higher, you have unlimited appointment types. So I mentioned at the beginning that maybe I offer 90-minute coaching sessions, but also 15-minute consultation calls. So I'll just quickly create a new appointment type called consultation calls. And here's where I can customize all of the same different options that we talked through in the previous ones. Here I'm going to apply my consultation calls availability. The meeting length for these is 15 minutes instead of an hour. I'm comfortable with these starting every 30 minutes, and I don't need a buffer before or after because they're short. I also don't need to limit my appointment frequency for consultation calls, again, because they're pretty straightforward and short. Here's where I want to add my Jane team member and toggle off myself. And again, I can customize my scheduling page, conversation, add a call link, all of the other different settings that we discussed in the previous videos. So again, setting up your different appointment types is a great way to take more control over your calendar and offer specific types of appointments with specific settings attached to your clients.